What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the greatest combat sports and culture show in the entire universe, the Fight Podcast. I'm your host, Serg Vicente, and this is all things boxing today. And when we have episodes that we do all things boxing, you know what we do. We bring the guru, Camm, who's right here on the show. So, you know what? Fuck it. Let me bring my mans on. B, what it do, man? Welcome to the show.
Appreciate you, man. As always, another week in the books. All things boxing. Thank you for bringing me back.
Absolutely.
I just feel like one of these weeks I'm just gonna get fired. I'm like, I think you suck. You don't come back.
Nah, bro. Come on, man. You a legend, man. You the guru. We gotta have you on.
Yes, I am. I appreciate it, man. Always make me feel so good inside.
Hey, brother, well, you at home here in the Fight Podcast, brother. We appreciate you. But let's let people know what we're talking about today, man. So on today's menu, we're going to go ahead and discuss, Canelo Alvarez dominates once again, proving that he's pound for pound number one, or is he? We'll discuss that. We'll also go ahead and talk about what's going on with his next opponent, what's going on with Teofimo Lopez and the state of boxing, and so much more in this episode, man. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on into it. Let's kick it off. Canelo Alvarez goes out there and just beats the piss out of Yul Durham, man. This was a fight that was the WBC mandatory. It's hilarious because the WBC head actually apologized for it afterwards. I don't know if you saw that on Akim Barak, but he did apologize for it. But we'll talk about that in a minute. But he dominates in his performance. B, let me ask you this. What did you learn in this performance by Canelo?
Here's what I learned. Canelo is at the point, and I'm getting an echo a little bit.
That's all good. You getting it?
Yeah, I'm getting an echo. Either way. Canelo is... From me,
my end?
I can hear myself.
Oh, for you?
I can hear myself coming out your speakers because you're not wearing headphones.
Oh, shit. All right, well, here, let's try to fix that. All right, keep going.
So, what I learned about Canelo. Remember when Mayweather used to do the sit-downs, and he also always used to tell people, hey, I've been here before. 40-some-odd guys have tried. 40-some-odd guys have failed. I've been in this moment before. And that's what used to happen sometimes. Fighters used to not be able to beat Mayweather just off of skill, but they've also never been in that moment before. They were not used to it. And that's what Canelo, that's an aspect of Canelo's game. You come out with your little normal entrance, and he got a whole fucking J Balvin performance. Like, it's different.
That shit was hilarious.
You're on a different stage. And he felt the weight of that stage, and he just simply could not handle it. He froze up, and Canelo just fought a punching bag.
Now, let me ask you, did you really think he... You know what? I ain't going to beat around the bush. Buddy absolutely froze up. It's funny because his trainer afterwards, Joel Diaz, even said it himself. He said there were, I think he said something along the lines that there were certain moments in training camp where he saw moments where, maybe this might happen. But the moment he was in there, he said, and that's why he ended up calling a fight. He said, he was in the corner. He can tell dude just didn't want to be in there. And it showed, man. The moment he was in there, the moment was by far too big for him. And Canelo went out there and just put on a performance, man. Let me ask you this, because obviously he dominated. We saw what happened next, but I think this brings to a bigger question in terms of the politics of boxing, right?
Okay.
And the fact that Yul Durham had an opportunity to fight Canelo Alvarez after losing his last two shots at a title, and then got knocked out, what is it, the fight before last? How is it possible that somebody like this actually even gets an opportunity to fight somebody like Canelo Alvarez? Like, this is a problem in the system of boxing, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I was confused to begin with because my understanding was that Canelo was the franchise champion, and the franchise champion is supposed to be able to avoid mandatories for what I would consider bigger events, those type of fights, going up to fight Kovalev, whatever the case may be, but you're supposed to be able to still be a champion and not have to fight mandatories. Mm-hmm. It seems like the WBC has done Canelo favors. They've bent rules for Canelo over the years. So this was kind of like a little bit of payback. Like, you've looked out for me over the years. I'll take your bitch ass mandatory as a part of my training camp for Billy Joe Saunders.
All right. Well, look, if that's the case,
and there's no there's no justification for it. It's not good. He did not deserve to be in the ring with Canelo. But like you said, politics of boxing, ranking systems are crazy. Crazy. It just is what it is.
You know what I have a real problem with the ranking system in general is that a champion from another belt can't be ranked in that belt system. So for an IBF champion can't be ranked in the WBC system, and the WBC champ can't be in the same as the WBO champ.
It's rare, but it happens.
If that actually happened, what was that?
It's rare, but it happens. In specific situations
but
when
still,
they're trying to force fight
it should
to happen, but
happen
it's
every
rare.
time. Because if it happened every time, then guess what would happen? Those elder champions would be the mandatories. How amazing would that be? That's how it should be in general. So, I mean, I hate that they do this. I mean, the politics of boxing damn near makes it not fun to watch, man. Because we're not getting these opportunities in these fights that we really actually want to see. And I've been somebody, both of us, we've been telling everybody how dope boxing has been recently because all the talent and all of the, dude, there's a shitload of fucking talent right now in boxing. And every weight class, I tell people all the time, dude, I am telling you, from top to bottom, from fucking heavyweight to 125 pounds, there are motherfuckers out there who can bang in boxing. But then this happens, and we don't get to see these amazing matchups. Dude, this is another black eye on the sport. This sucks, and we're still getting bullshit coming. And then it kind of brings into a topic that we're going to talk about in a second. But dude, boxing, you guys are losing your fucking grip. I'm just saying.
So here's the thing. There's a magnifying glass on this because he's the biggest fighter in the sport, Canelo Alvarez.
Absolutely.
However, there's another side to that. Canelo is trying to fight like 4 or 5 times in a calendar year. He's trying to fight. He fought in December. He just fought in February. He's already fighting in May. Literally already done. Announced at the fight, contract signed, everything. Fighting in September.
We'll talk about that fight in a second.
Fighting in September and trying to fight in December. So if there's a scrub that gets in the mix along the way, shit, so be it. However, if our champions are going to fight 5 times a year and they take one off matchup, cool. I'm sure Canelo didn't want to take that fight, but he cashed a check. He got a little highlight. Cool, he moves on. But it's not like fighters when you have fighters that are fighting twice a year, that becomes a much bigger problem. Now, for this guy to have been a mandatory and the fact that Canelo was forced to fight him, it sucks, but it doesn't bother me that much because we're going to get to see Canelo be so active.
Okay. Is Canelo Alvarez the number 1 pound-for-pound guy in boxing right now?
Is water wet?
Hey. Well, let's keep the party going in terms of Canelo Alvarez. You mentioned this fight a second ago. Billy Joe Saunders gets the nod. This is a fight that we wanted to get in the past. He is somebody that you and I both believe stylistically might end up being a problem and could be a problem for somebody like Canelo. He has good feet, great defense. Reminds me of almost like a British Edislandi Lara, okay? When we think about it in that capacity. How do you like this fight? What's your excitement level on this fight? Let's say at a scale of 1 to 10.
This is a really, really good fight. I think, it's going to be in Sergio enjoy it. Some of the casuals will not enjoy it. It's going to be fought at a really, really high level. But Canelo, with his come forward style, when he turns into that bull, he is exciting to watch. He's not going to let any fight be too boring. And so I think he'll be able to catch Billy Saunders on the way out early on with those body shots, and we'll see if he can slow him down late. But that's a great fight, a very skilled southpaw, and it's almost like Canelo doesn't really know what to prepare for because you don't have much tape of Billy Joe Saunders when he's really in it. Like when he gets those fights against Chris Eubank and David Lemieux. But he hasn't fought at the high level in so long, you just don't know what you're going to get. He could show up there and be a bag of shit, and we wouldn't be surprised. But we also wouldn't be surprised if he won the fight on points.
And that's a real thing. And that's something that I know you and I have discussed in the past, man, because when you think about it, I mean, Billy Joe Saunders is a legit threat. He is a legit threat stylistically, his movement. No, he doesn't.
Canelo hasn't fought a lot of movers lately.
He hasn't. The guys, I mean, think about it. Who has the best footwork that Canelo's fought against recently? Fucking
would be like Amir Khan or something.
Yeah, and at the, I mean, and that's just we're talking about a mover that is just as big as Canelo Alvarez is, if not bigger.
That would be
who
Lara.
can move. You know, I mean, Lara would have been the last one, and I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Erislandy Lara won that fight.
Say what you may. Canelo got the W on his resume, and he's
Absolutely
better than he's much better than that Canelo.
Yes, he is. Now I would
This is
absolutely
Canelo level
agree
3.
with. Absolutely.
He's Super Saiyan 3. He grew the long hair now.
No shit. Yo, no shit. Yo, man, you know what? Here's the thing. I'll be honest with you. When I saw Canelo Alvarez fight Floyd Mayweather way back when, at this point in time, what's it, 9 years ago now? Something like that?
Like
almost a
2013?
decade ago. You know, so you have...
2013. I got that right. Trivia.
Dude, no, we see you, brother. We see you. I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't anticipate he'd be this good. I'll be honest with you. I thought he'd be good, but... Bro, he might be the best defensive fighter that we have in the world right now. He's that damn good. I mean, defensively solid. He moves up in weight classes, up and down, solid. He challenges himself. And here's the thing. And I have to give you props with this because I look at it and Canelo does what you say all the time. The guys that he's supposed to get out of there, he gets them the fuck out of there. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If you don't belong in here, I'm going to beat your ass. He does that consistently. That's why, in my opinion, he's definitely the number one pound for pound guy. But check it out. Like you said, we got Billy Joe Saunders next. How does Billy Joe Saunders win this fight?
What are your thoughts on that fight? How does Billy Joe Saunders win? Billy Joe Saunders wins by sticking and moving all night. His issue is that he doesn't have enough power to deter Canelo. And so Canelo can walk him down without much consequence all night. And Canelo can cut off his exits with hooks. A lot easier said than done, but when we're talking about the number one pound-for-pound boxer in the world, I think he can easily counter that movement with hooks to the body. And he would love another opportunity to go to the body with momentum coming towards him. So, I mean, it's hard to see Billy Joe Saunders winning, but look at his legs. Floyd Mayweather, obviously. Erislandy Lara. It's not a lot of movers that Canelo has fought that you can look to and say, hey, he struggled there. Mm-hmm. But in the skilled movers that he has fought, he struggled. And we're talking about a southpaw mover.
Absolutely.
So Billy Joe Saunders can present a ton of problems for Canelo. And I mean, like I said, if you remember, 2019 going to 2020, that was my hot take of the year. That was my hot. You said pick one hot take. I said Billy Joe Saunders will upset Canelo. Ooh. And I still wouldn't be surprised if that happened. And
I was just about to ask you that. Are you still sticking with that hot take?
Yeah, I'll stick with it.
Ooh, okay. Well, look, I love that. We gonna hold you to it, and when that fight comes up, leading up, I'm
not gonna be like standing, but I'll silently pick Billy Joe Saunders.
Okay. Well, look, we'll discuss that fight and so much more, especially when it comes up. But look, come on, man. Canelo's the fucking man. Went out there, dominated. He made me proud when he called those Jake Paul fans fuckers and told them to get up out of there, which it tickled the hell out of me.
He out here using a translator, but he say fuckers just fine.
Just fine. Oh, come on, man. You know how it is when you're learning a new language. You absolutely know the curse words first.
I don't think he's learning a new language. I think he just carries Mexico on his back like that. Like he wants to cater to his people. He doesn't want to cater to America. Like no. He can speak English if he needs to, but he wants to cater to his people at all points in times. Because I know a young lady who did with some photography work, Canelo, back when he was with Hennessy. She said he speaks English just fine, and everyone around him says he speaks English just fine. So I'm sure he can interview probably better than Golovkin.
Possibly. I mean, he lives in San Diego now. I'm sure he does. You know, yeah. But look, I love it, man. I think Canelo, this fight with Billy Joe, I'm actually really excited about. And I love what he's doing. If he does go out there and fight 5 times this year, like he's talking about, I mean, it's going to make all the other fighters in the world, all the other big names, take notice. And I think this is wishful thinking, I know. But it could absolutely bring on a new era of boxing where we actually get in these fights and champions don't give a fuck what the promoters want, and they're going out there and actually doing it for the fans and doing it for their legacies. I hope that actually does happen, but we'll see.
So here's the thing.
Go ahead. Last thing before we move on.
This is the type of run that stops all the talking. Stop talking. If he can make it through this 2020 run, fights all those times, including December, goes undisputed at 168. It's one of those runs where you say, hey, he's debatable number one. He's running away with it. There is no question in all of boxing who the number one pound for pound fighter is. Absolutely. And he demands a next level payday. Like, he'll be looking at those Anthony Joshua numbers at that point. And at deservedly so, he's the best fighter in the sport. So, absolutely. I mean, but this run is important. And we'll see where we're at, next year at this time. But no one would be surprised if Canelo makes it through.
No, and I'm gonna be honest with you. This is a historic run. I don't think people understand or are grasping how historic this run will be if he actually gets through it. But I can't wait. I love it. I love what Canelo's doing. He proves time and time again why he's the best boxer in the world right now. All right, let's move to a dude who actually wants to be. He's claiming his stake as the number one pound for pound guy in the sport. And I'm gonna be honest with you, man. He's creating waves. He went out there last time out, became 2020's fighter of the year. He beat the former number one pound for pound guy in the world, Teofimo Lopez. I'm sorry. Lomachenko. Teofimo Lopez is the guy I'm fucking talking about. So Teofimo Lopez, he's an absolute beast at lightweight. He's teasing going up and fighting at 140 pounds very soon. But it seems like he might no longer be with Top Rank. We had a purse bid this past week, literally the day after our last talk with our All Things Boxing episode, and fucking Triller set the world on fire. Triller goes up there and actually wins the purse bid. And they are going to be the ones that actually promote the next Teofimo Lopez title fight against George Kambosos. Brandon, brother, how big of a deal is it that Triller actually got this fight?
This was a complete shock. We're thinking, Eddie Hearn, DAZN, like Triller. That came out of nowhere, and I think they doubled up the next closest bidder, like pretty close to it. I think they were 6.1, and I think maybe DAZN was in second at like 3 point something. But I mean, and to Matt in the comments, Triller definitely overpaid for the fight. But
I was just about to say
they're able to do that. They're trying to make a splash, and if they can pair some really high interest novelty fights with it, then they can make their money back on those fights. But they definitely overpaid for it. It's more of an investment in a guy like Teofimo Lopez.
Ooh, you know what, man? I'm gonna be honest with you.
They absolutely overpaid.
1,000% they overpaid. But the thing I'm thinking more and more is that, one, I don't believe this is sustainable. This reminds me, if you think back to MMA, for those who are listening and know, and thank you for everybody who's listening live right now on YouTube, on Facebook, everybody who's been paying attention to the Fight Podcast, appreciate you. Everybody who's tuned into our new show, Brothers in Combat, with Darnell Giovanni of Mystic Black. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. That first episode got a lot of love. I appreciate you guys, but appreciate you all for tuning in right now. Fucking forgot what I was saying. What the fuck was I saying?
Well, I'll go into this. Matt's asking, is he a draw? I don't think so. I don't think he's a big draw.
Dude, okay, my bad. That's what I was saying. Bruh, they absolutely overpaid for this cat. Not only did they overpay for him, they really fucked up, I think, in the long run, because $6 million, he's not worth that at this point in time, unfortunately.
Well, 6.1 for the fight. So,
so he's gonna get
a certain
about
amount
3.
Of that goes to George Kambosos, and then ESPN gets like 20%. So he ends up with about 3.1.
About 3.
Career high payday for him. Does he deserve it?
No.
Yes. I mean, any fighter that beat Lomachenko deserves the money. Is he worth it? No, I don't think so. I don't think he's a draw to that extent. However, if they pair it with some good novelty fights, he'll get some new eyeballs on him. This will end up being an overall positive experience for Lopez. He'll get some new eyes on him, some new eyes on the sport. They'll follow him back to ESPN, where he can have a high level fight at 135. He can fight for undisputed at 140. The kid has a lot of options. He can be annoying sometimes, but he deserves to get paid just like anybody else. And you know what? He forced ESPN's hand. And he's sounding not happy with them. He sounds like he wants to leave.
No, that'll be, and let's be honest with you. PBC will give him a bag, and we know how they get down. So I wouldn't be surprised if they went out there and did it. And that's what I was saying. I think they remind you of the old. They reminded me of Affliction in the old MMA days. Is what I was actually saying earlier. Yeah, so they went out there. They gave Fedor and Andrei Arlovsky just this crazy amount of cash, and the organization couldn't sustain. They ended up folding, and they had a lot of backing. They had a lot of fun. You know, it was a great organization for as long as they lasted. But that's what the fuck happens. I don't know. I think they're fun though. I think they're going to be able to go ahead and put on a really fun show. Let me ask you this: how do you think? What do you think this show? How are they going to package this deal? Because this is what I think they're eventually going to do. I think if they go out there, you put Snoop Dogg on the mic. All right, first and foremost, let's put Snoop on the mic. You give me an up and coming guy, right? Give me a prospect of some sort on here on this card, right? Give me a prospect. Give me a journeyman fight, some old guy fight, whatever, with a name that I could recognize. And then you give me a YouTuber. Give me Jake Paul. Give me one of those fuckers as your co-main event. Then you put the big boys, like the actual big names at the top of the card, Teofimo Lopez. Sprinkle in some B-list hip-hop acts. Niggas, sign me the fuck up. I'm telling you, if they go out there and do this, and if they can sustain it and they're not like Affliction, this might be because here's the thing I will say. If they can sustain this, Top Rank, PBC, the rest of these promoters truly need to watch out.
Yeah, but I mean, they can only sustain it for so long. Everyone runs out of money.
We don't know that.
But listen, they sold for the Tyson fight.
That's what I'm saying. We don't know.
They up right now.
Yeah.
So they can invest in the future.
I'm telling you, man, this is something that I really believe that the other organizations, I mean, Top Rank and these people really, if they go out there and they look at Triller like they're just this whatever, this one-time thing, it won't happen again, who gives a fuck, and they don't take these dudes seriously, man, they might be the next big thing in boxing. They'll be the real takeover.
Do you have anything more to say about this? Because I have one thing that we didn't talk about that I want to add that's like terrible.
Go ahead.
Gee, did you see fucking Andy Ruiz and Chris Arreola headlining a pay-per-view card? Oh my gosh.
Bro, I thought you were going to bring this up on Guru's Corner today, but I'm glad we can talk about it now.
I mean, we don't have to say much about it. I was just like, bro,
okay. That's cool. It's a mistake. It's an absolute mistake. Physically, I'll say this: Ruiz looks good. I'm curious to see him with Eddie Reynoso. I'm really curious to see what that looks like and what that marriage looks like, and because I think that he can be better with that system. But come on, man. Pay-per-view against Chris Arreola, fam. Like, we're still in a pandemic. Don't nobody want to watch that shit. You crazy?
Don't nobody want to watch it out of a pandemic. Don't matter. Nobody wants to see the headline of pay-per-view. Let's move on.
No, yeah, we can move on to the next one. All right, let's talk about this. Moving right along, Brandon's favorite fighter, Clarissa Shields, fights on pay-per-view. This will, coming up, and it's on what app is it? It's like the Fight app or Fit app something.
FITE. I'm assuming it's pronounced Fight.
Fight app. Couple things. She's had some antics. She's had some interviews and things coming up. Brandon, what are your thoughts on the promotion of this fight and the buildup of it and just Clarissa Shields, the antics and everything she's had leading up to this, man? How you feel about this?
I feel like everybody's going to sound crazy until they accomplish something. And I feel that's how Clarissa Shields has to carry herself. She's looking to accomplish things in the sport that no woman has ever accomplished. So these feats, they don't exist yet. So for her to sit here and say, this is what I want to do, this is how much I'm worth, of course she sounds crazy. And maybe she'll take a few L's. But long term, if she continues to win, if she can make a half decent transition into MMA, she'll be a global star. She's just a long way away right now. But she keeps on talking. She keeps on winning. She gets some highlights. People will turn their heads eventually. And it'll be difficult. And there'll be people like Sergio who don't like to hear it. And I understand why. She can definitely turn people off. But she's the first. It's different. We're not used to this.
She's not the first. I mean, Ann Wolf was talking like this also. You know, there have been plenty of women, and here's the thing: I think Clarissa Shields is extremely talented. I think she's one of the most talented female boxers we've ever seen. I don't like some of the extracurricular shit because I'm just one of those people. I don't think you've proven enough to talk as greasy as you do. You only have 10 fights. And in my opinion, she's not fighting the best women in the world. She is fighting the best women that are available to her, and that's a credit to her. And I will always give any fighter that credit. Do I think she deserves to be paid more than she does? She's the biggest name in female boxing. She absolutely should get paid more than she does. I don't know why it rubs me the wrong way. I don't. But it's like, I feel like if she was going out there, she's not, you know what it is for me? To me, she's just not that nice. She's not that dominant. She doesn't have any power. You know what I mean? Like I'm looking at a fighter that it's like, let's say this. At least when I watched, I'll say Katie Taylor, for instance. When I'm looking at the skills and everything involved, I'm seeing power. I'm seeing grit. I'm not saying that Clarissa Shields doesn't have that, but I feel like there's a level of technique that I see that I'm like, this combination of things impresses me. I'm not fucking seeing that on the other end. Let me say on the other end. I'm talking about MMA. When I see Amanda Nunes compete, I see the technical skills and the technical prowess. But at the same time, I see this explosive concussive power that she's starching bitches. You know what I'm saying? So I'm able to see that, and there's certain things that I see in these attributes that stand out with these other athletes. And I'm not seeing that with her. I guess that's my thing. It's just, in the words of Georges St. Pierre, I'm just not impressed by your performance.
I'll take Amanda Nunes. I won't take the Katie Taylor comparison. Because
which is fair.
Katie Taylor went out there and got beat up, even though she won the fight, but she definitely got beat up by Delphine Persoon.
She did
twice.
Yeah.
And I mean, while Clarissa Shields got dropped by Hannah Gabriel, we really ain't never seen her struggle. That was one moment in one fight. She got hit with a lucky shot, got right up, wasn't buzzed, and has dominated every second of every round of pretty much most of her fights. So I mean, it's a different level, and maybe she revolves her game a little bit more around speed, but she's also better than Katie Taylor. But I will take Amanda Nunes, but Amanda Nunes has a much bigger brand behind her.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, here's the thing. Online, everybody who's watching live right now on YouTube and Twitch and Facebook, thank you guys so much as always for joining us on the show. You are a part of the show. Matt Fox asked, here, let's go ahead and get my man Bong. Let's show that real quick.
Wow, new features.
You know what I'm saying? How much of that has to do with the shorter rounds? I'm assuming in terms of her power. Can she overwhelm them with volume? I'm going to be honest with you. Thank you for the question as well. I'll be honest with you. She doesn't just have power. I don't care if it's the rounds or not. If it was longer rounds, do I think she'd get these people out of there? No, because she's not hurting these people at any point in time. I don't see her hurting people consistently. Have I seen her stung a girl from time to time? Okay, but maybe a couple more. She
hurt the best fighter she fought.
She don't have power like that to me, man.
But you said you're not seeing her hurt people. She hurt the best fighter she fought.
I'm good.
Christina Hammer.
Consistently. That's fine.
More than once in that fight.
Consistent power.
I mean, I get it. I think, to answer my opinion on Matt's question, is she would definitely get her out of there if she had longer rounds. 3-minute rounds and 2-minute rounds is a huge difference, and the women in the sport absolutely hate it.
It's total bullshit that women have 2 fucking minute rounds in boxing. Like, what the fuck is that about?
Trash.
Why can't they fight 3-minute rounds? Are you fucking crazy?
Trash.
You dumbass motherfuckers.
And UFC
out
here
hell
just
does that shit?
UFC doing apples to apples in boxing, like, y'all are women, y'all got to fight 2-minute rounds.
Dude, they out there. You know what, man? Boxing. This is why we get the fucking Stephen A. Smiths of the world saying stupid shit like they do. I don't want to see a girl get hurt or get punched in the face. That shit's weak. Listen, I want to see anybody who can get down, get down. Any other thoughts on Clarissa Shields before we move on?
Buy her pay-per-view this Saturday. Support a black woman. I will.
Absolutely.
I think it's like $30. I agree with
that. It's like $25-$30, I think. Yeah, I'm gonna check it out. It's great. All right. Hell yeah, I'm supporting the young lady. All right, move right along. Only other thing, let me ask you this: you want to do Guru's Corner, or do you want to talk UFC real fast? Let's do Guru's Corner because
Okay.
let's do that so that we can finish up with some MMA, but keep it with boxing right now.
So Guru's Corner this week, just a few. Okay, gotcha.
Real quick, for those who do not know, Guru's Corner as well. You let my mans cook. We got the Guru on the show. Our boxing analyst, our boxing expert comes on each and every week and blesses us with his presence. This is where we're going to give him an opportunity. All this week's news and notes with the Guru himself, Camm, the Guru. Hey,
yes, sir. So just a few pieces of news this week. Number one, Josh Taylor and Jose Ramirez is done. This is the best fight on the calendar for this year. All the marbles, as they say, at the 140-pound division, junior welterweight. It's going to be an amazing fight. If you've seen Josh Taylor fight, if you've seen Jose Ramirez fight, you know, marquee matchups, I would go back and watch that Jose Ramirez fight against Maurice Hooker, and I would go back and watch that Josh Taylor fight against Regis Prograis. Those two fights will tell you all you need to know about both fighters. This is going to be an amazing, amazing fight. I'm not going to call a winner yet, but boxing fans will win on May 22nd.
Oh, I can't wait. That is a fight that if you have never seen either of these guys compete, this is a fight of the night type of fight. This fight has all the makings, all the opportunities of a fight of the year candidate. Two dudes who go out there and can absolutely get down. I love it. I love it. I love it. I cannot wait to see this fight. And you know what? Yo, Teofimo Lopez he said he wants the winner. So this fight could be
and he will
huge for boxing moving forward.
Yep, that'll be an amazing, huge fight. Something to look forward to. Of the same cloth of Burchelt and Valdez. Like that's how we're looking at this fight going in. And this one's for the undisputed championship of the world. Also, as far as negotiations go, Fury and AJ negotiations are looking very good, I'm hearing. Pretty close to done at this point. So we should probably be hearing a fight announcement in the next month or so. I have not seen a date, but what I'm told, negotiations are going well. Last but not least, Billy Joe Saunders. He is a character.
Yeah,
I was
not going to pull up the video.
Well, I'm not going to pull up the video. I'm just saying, watch for his antics. He will give you something to talk about. Whether you like him or not, he will give you something to talk about leading up into his May 8th bout with Canelo Alvarez.
Absolutely.
He's an interesting guy. He's
best friends with Tyson Fury. So if you know anything about Tyson Fury and the character that he is leading up to his fights with the walkouts and the songs and all kinds of stuff, he is literally just a miniature version of Tyson Fury in the way he acts. Another one of those gypsies, I believe, as well. Dude is an absolute character. I'm a fan of what he brings aside from the bullshit. Anything else you got, Guru?
That is all from me. Appreciate the platform.
Oh, come
but
on,
you know, it's a pretty big event on the MMA side of the world coming up. I know this is all things boxing, but I do dabble a little bit. So, UFC 259, and that's the fight that really gave me an attitude about boxing. Like, I saw UFC 259, and I was looking at boxing like, oh, you disgust me. Like, 3 championship fights, man. All stars, rising stars, established stars in UFC. You got one of the top pound for pound fighters on the men's side, the top pound for pound fighter on the women's side, and the 3rd championship fight in there with my boy Aljamain Sterling as well, all in a single pay-per-view. That's beautiful.
Oh, dude, it is absolutely amazing. I could not be more excited for this card. It's everything that you want as a fight fan, because not only do you get those top 3 amazing the top 3 championships, all the way down to the prelims. I mean, this card is stacked. You have Dominic Cruz on the prelims. You have arguably the best 135-pound fighter in the world fighting on the prelims. That's how dope this card is, and historically, not currently, because we actually have the 135-pound title with Aljamain Sterling and Peter Yan, which I cannot wait for. That could be your fight of the night, yo. It's amazing. Aljo, come on, New York stand up. What it do?
Oh, Long Island stand up.
Long Island stand up. What's up? Be feeling a real way about this one.
Oh yeah.
Hey, and I'll be honest with you, man. I absolutely believe that your boy, New York's own, Long Island's very own, will be bringing a title back to Long Island. I thoroughly believe that. He's that good. I think it's his time. I think he is the best fighter at one of the best weight classes in the world right now. Dude is an absolute savage. This one's going to be fun, man. This was going to be fun. Here, Guru, I'll throw it to you, man. What questions do you have about this that you are what are you questioning? Because I've been talking about this stuff all week. What's up?
Okay, so is it possible that we see an Amanda Nunes upset?
Okay. Megan Anderson is a beast. She's a former champion with Invicta. She's had her lumps in the UFC. She lost to Holly Holm. She lost to Felicia Spencer, who both of those women were finished by Amanda Nunes. But I'll be very honest with you. As much as I would like to sell you on this being an opportunity of being like this like epic battle, and she has an opportunity, so what? She's a minus 12,000 underdog. She has it. There's a chance. Yo, there's not a chance in hell. Fam, she ain't. Don't put no money on this fight. You don't even have to watch this fight. She gonna get her monkey ass whooped. It is what it is.
Okay. And are you nervous at all for our boy, the style bender, Israel Adesanya, just saying fuck it to the weight?
No, I have no, like, I am the most confident about this fight. I think
you're the most confident, more confident than the Nunes fight.
Yes, absolutely.
Really?
Absolutely.
Oh, man,
absolutely.
I think you're a little too confident.
I'm not that confident because you know why I'm that confident? Because I understand that Israel Adesanya and the team understand the threat that Jan Blachowicz is. That's why I'm confident. Because I know how seriously they're taking their opponent. That's the thing. He's not one of those champions that goes out there and just is like, oh, I'm the style bender. I'm going to do. We forget he has over 100 wins in his career. Over 100 wins in his combat sports career. He's fought pro boxing heavyweight. He's fought pro boxing kickboxing. Do you think fighting at 205 pounds, anybody that size is going to bother him? No. He knows what he's doing. And here's the thing. Go back and look at, trying to think what would be a good one. It's his first fight in the UFC. He is fighting this guy from Australia. What is his name? They fought on that Australia card. And that was actually his first card in the UFC. Fuck, what is his name? But it was his first fight in the UFC. Well, he went out there, and this is somebody that is a predominantly boxing guy, but he's extremely well-rounded. Big for the weight class, strong.
Marvin Vettori?
No, not Marvin Vettori. He beat Marvin Vettori's ass, too. But I think Marvin Vettori is actually more skillful and smooth than Jan Blachowicz is. And I think Jan is great. I think Jan is huge. I think he's powerful. But here's the thing that I know about Jan Blachowicz is that Jan bites on every feint. Anytime that you feint, you move forward, Jan, he does these big jumps, right? Moves his hands forward. He reaches for his defense. Dog, Adesanya is going to eat through that dude like butter, man. He's going to see that. I think he's going to be too much speed. I think it's going to be too much accuracy. I think he's bigger than I think people realize. I mean, he's pushing 6'5".
Rob Wilkinson?
He's stronger. Rob Wilkinson, that's the guy.
That's Matt, by the way.
Thank you, sir. Matty, appreciate you, my brother.
Matt ain't getting no sleep. And he holds down the podcast.
Holding it down. He's the man. Oh, come on, man. The legend. I'll be honest with you. I think this fight's going to be an amazing fight. I think we're going to see the best of Israel Adesanya. It's going to be a lot of fun, man. I think he's going to take a step into becoming, after he wins this fight, because I thoroughly believe he's going to win this fight, he's going to be the pound for pound number one guy in the sport. Right? Just this win here, he leapfrogs everybody. He's number one pound for pound in the sport, and it's not even that close anymore.
Okay. John Jones hasn't looked amazing, so I think that's fair. Could be.
And he hasn't fought in almost 2 years at this point.
Yeah. Are you excited for the next John Jones fight?
I am excited for John Jones to compete. I mean, I'm curious. And here's the thing. John Jones has been, again, super active on social media. He's been talking shit. He's been doing a lot of stuff. But Adesanya's fought 3 times since the last time I've seen you compete.
And look better.
And not only, and here's the thing. You fought at 205 for 11 years before you moved up to challenge yourself. You didn't go up there to fight Cain Velasquez when you just won the title. He didn't do that. They asked him to. He said, I'm not going to do that yet. And Adesanya's already moved up. He's cleaned out his weight class. Go look at his resume. The guys coming up that everybody's talking about are fucking monsters. Are Marvin Vettori. He already whooped his ass. Think about that shit. So you really got to think about this, man. I said it before. I said it on this show at the end of the show, at the end of last year. I believe you were on that roundtable when I said this. Yo, Adesanya is the best fighter, not only at 185 pounds. He's also the best light heavyweight in the world. And here's where it gets fun. Here's where it gets fucking fun. If he wins this fight and Stipe wins his fight, Adesanya, I could absolutely see trying to fight Stipe Miocic for the heavyweight title.
Okay.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
Would they make that
watch?
fight? Would they make that fight before they make John Jones versus Stipe?
I want to see what happens with. I mean, look, it all depends. We don't know what's gonna happen. But I'm saying if let's say if Stipe Miocic gets through John Jones, gets through Francis Ngannou, that fight would absolutely happen. I think the money fight absolutely is going to be John Jones. We might end up getting that fight. Let's say John Jones gets the title at some point in time before December. I can see them trying to make Adesanya versus John Jones this December.
Whew. Oh man, let's not get too excited yet. Let's focus on this Saturday.
I'm just being honest with you, man.
We gotta fight this Saturday. Let's not disrespect John whatever.
No, and that's the beautiful thing. Jan Blachowicz is a legitimate problem. He's a legitimate problem. This is one of those guys that he's a little awkward. He's he's a little slow, but he has incredible timing. He's incredibly powerful, and he's one of the most well-rounded guys in the weight class. But again, here's the problem. Dog, I've seen you lose. I've seen you get knocked out.
Okay. So here's my last question about the card.
I have been disrespecting Jan for years. I have been. I've never picked Jan. I'll be honest with you. I don't pick Jan.
Well, it happens.
Fucking honest.
I don't fuck with Chris either.
Well, I think it's going to be a great card, though. I really do, man. I do.
I was going to ask, what fight? I think you said Victor Reyes or something like that. Victor Cruz on the prelims.
Dominic Cruz.
My bad.
Look at this cat. New York dude thinking about Puerto Ricans from New York. I ain't mad at you.
What aside from that, what are one of the under fights outside the championship fights that I need to look at?
Islam Makhachev against Drew Dober is going to be an incredible fight. That is
prelims or the main card?
Cousin of that's what's his name? That's Khabib's cousin. That Khabib trains, and Khabib says is going to be the next champion.
Speaking of Khabib, is he from a similar place even to what's the guy that fake retired this week? Why can't I remember his name?
You're talking about I don't know why I'm blanking on his fucking name. Yeah, you're thinking Khamzat Chimaev.
Retired. I forgot his name. I couldn't forget his name a few weeks ago.
Khamzat Chimaev. Look, he retired, but he didn't. You know, we'll see what happens with him. He's really dealing with the ramifications from COVID. I feel terrible for Buddy. I really do. It must have been bad for him. It seems like he hasn't been able to recover in terms of his lungs. We'll see what happens with him. Hopefully we end up getting him back out there at some point soon. But shit, we don't know.
Have we seen an athlete affected by COVID like this?
This
derailing his career?
Worst. This has to be the worst that I can remember. Yeah, especially somebody that seemed like they were at the peak of their fucking... He was there. He was right there, man.
Yeah.
He was just about to get his ass whooped by Leon Edwards. It was crazy.
But he beat Leon Edwards. That's a huge breakout performance.
If he would have, if was a fifth, we'd all be fucked
he went from
up.
having an opportunity to not. And
True.
That's sad.
True.
You know, and I know you were picking against him, but you didn't want to see this for him.
No, because I believe he has opportunity and the potential to be one of the best guys we've ever seen. He has that skill and that potential. I just thought that's a little bit too much. You're biting off more than you can chew too fast. I never understand when promotions like, why the fuck would you break your toy? You got this new toy. We got this new play thingy. Let's show everybody how fun it is, and let's have them fuck up a whole bunch of people that we know aren't gonna be shit for a second. Let him take those little jumps, but the jumps that make sense. He fights a guy that moves up in the rankings a little bit. Let him keep fucking people up, and then we have something. When he's finally at the top, he's earned his spot. He cannot be denied. That's the fuck we need, man. And here's the thing. Why do you think I'm so high on Adesanya? That's actually how they brought him up. I don't think they knew the commodity that they had when they got him. So they actually brought him up in that way. That's the thing. Look at his step-ups. Each step was like a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. Oh, shit, this is a contender. He fucked him up. Anderson Silva, Kelvin Gastelum, Robert, you know what I'm saying? It built, and all those moves ended up making sense. The jumps that they were trying to make for Hazmat just didn't make sense. Hopefully he gets healthy. I believe they flew him out to Vegas. You know how Dana gets. If you got a Abraham Lincoln beard and fucked up ears, he will not let you retire. We'll see what ends up happening.
I don't mind to step up in competition. I
don't mind to step up in competition, but here's the thing. Why am I going to fuck up my toy?
I don't care about your toy. I care about me.
You know what?
My satisfaction.
That's total. I'm not going to take that from you. That's total bullshit. Because you're Mr. for boxing. I want all these bullshit fights. This is okay. Get out of here. Get out of here, boxing guy.
I'm not saying anything.
I got time for that.
So when
I'm saying they bring somebody on smart.
When you talk about Hazmat taking a step up, I'm thinking Jaron Ennis. Damn, what would I give to see him against a guy like Sean Porter right now?
Okay, but that's not the same. That's not the same.
Okay.
That's not the same at all.
So, okay, would you consider Jaron Ennis?
If I'm saying I want to see Cyril Gane against Derek Lewis, that makes sense. Okay? That's like saying Jaron Ennis against Sean Porter. Those are comparisons. So you're talking about guys that are higher up in the weight. We're talking about a guy who's not fucking ranked. Jaron Ennis is one of the best in the world.
Jaron Ennis ain't beat nobody. This is his first step up.
We're talking about one of the best prospects in the world that everyone sees. He's coming. He's starting to beat people. You're talking about a guy who hasn't faced anybody in the top 15.
He has the following. Neither has Jaron Ennis. Okay. He ain't fought nobody in the top 15.
Okay. This is just interesting. The arguments that you and I have had about boxing, you're contradicting yourself a lot. I'm just putting it out there.
What I'm saying, I'm not contradicting myself. I'm saying when you made the Hazmat comparison, cool. I think about a guy like Jaron Ennis and what it would be like for him to take a high step up fight right now. And I compare the step up fight. You're saying, if not Sean Porter, who would you consider equivalent to Leon Edwards in the welterweight division? Because all I'm saying is I would love that for Jaron Ennis right now. You're trying
to say Hazmat is where Ennis is. I'm saying he's not.
Who has Ennis fought though? This is literally his first known fighter.
I love when you do this. You're arguing a fighter that you really haven't watched and you don't know.
In Hazmat?
Yes.
I mean, I watched a couple fights. Isn't he? He was he was about to fight Leon Edwards.
Okay.
He's a highly touted prospect.
It's fine.
I'm just comparing it from a highly touted prospect perspective. I would love to see that in boxing. So you were saying,
I would
why
absolutely love to see that as well. I would absolutely love to see that as well.
We see way too much bullshit. So to my point,
absolutely,
it'd be cool.
Absolutely.
So you get spoiled with fights, and you're like, hey, I could throw these away. I'm like, hey, look, we don't get we don't get nice things that often.
I'm not saying throw the fights away. That's what
you're
I'm
saying.
not saying.
Wait.
I'm not even saying that. I'm saying take the next step, adequate step up. If I'm beat the top 15 guy, then I'm gonna be the top 5 to 10 guy, then I'll be the top 5 guy, and then I'm in contention there.
And he
That's
just
how
went
I'm looking at
not
it.
top 15 to top 5.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense because then we're skipping guys who've earned their spots. Those guys have all been there grinding away. And dude, that grind is like nothing else. So anybody who's in the top 15 of UFC has earned that place. I can't sit here and take somebody that has just come from left field just because he has a following and all of a sudden give him to the top guy. If he's not, he hasn't earned that position. And again, I know I'm somebody who is, I guess you could say, a purist or something like that. You know, it is what it is. Okay, like Belal Muhammad. Belal Muhammad here, the thing about Belal Muhammad, for instance, top 11 guy, right? He's somebody who's breaking in to the top 5, right? Now, there it is right there. Matt, thank you so much. That's a good comparison. Belal Muhammad against dude is like Ennis against Sean Porter. That's an adequate jump up. It makes sense. He's a fringe type of guy. He has that. He looks like he might be the motherfucker. And then an opportunity presents himself, and then he gets to fight that guy. Belal Muhammad, who's fighting Leon Edwards, is the comparison right there.
Okay.
That's it with that. So it's just you're taking somebody who just hasn't. That's the only thing I want to explain. It's just like he's just not at that level. He's not.
I think you're acting as if, and while we see all the talent in the world in Jaron Ennis, he has not done anything to prove it to us yet. He has not beat anybody in the top 15. This next fight, he has a name for his next fight that I'm really excited about. But yeah. I guess his last fight. You know what? This is a decent progression. Who do you fight? Van Herdeen, his last fight?
Yeah. He's getting some good progressions, too. They're bringing him along the right way.
Yeah, but I would say, like, I don't necessarily want to see his next fight. I would love to see him against Sean Porter now.
I guess, man. I think I'm not about, I guess, there's a difference between, I think, protecting a fighter and making sure that if you have an actual commodity, he's taking the adequate steps up in competition that push him to the level that he's supposed to get pushed. And I think at times we get excited about specific prospects and we throw them to the wolves right away. And then what ends up happening is that their confidence gets fucked. And then you're literally, they're damaged goods and they're never the same. I don't like doing that to prospects. I want to sit there and say, look, let's take the right calculated step up. Still steps up, still tough dudes. You're not fighting fucking trash bags. But at the same time, I'm actually fighting guys that are helping me get better in terms of competition. I'm in there with a higher level opponent, than my last guy. And then it's like, they're testing you. You know what I'm saying? Each level up should test you in a different way. If you're going out there and fighting Yield Dirham, that shit don't test me in any way. You know what I'm saying? That's the difference, and that's kind of where I'm coming from.
Who do you think is an example? Who do you think is an example of a guy who got pushed too early, pushed too soon in MMA?
In MMA? Oh, fucking Sage Northcutt, Sean O'Malley. Fuck, bro, I can go. The list goes on and on. There's so many motherfuckers. Anybody Dana White likes.
What about boxing?
Boxing wise, guys who got pushed too soon. And here's the hard thing about boxing, guys. Motherfuckers get 30 fights before they end up getting anybody we care about. So it's a little bit more difficult to do that in boxing.
True.
We know about dudes. I mean, they're pushing. Who are they pushing? Clarissa Shields is getting pushed too early, but whatever. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody else. Ryan Garcia is getting pushed too early, but whatever. You know what I'm saying? Not now, after the win he just got, but I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's stuff like that.
Okay. I can't think of any stories. I've heard. See, I wasn't around watching boxing back then, but I've heard they pushed Fernando Vargas too early. Like, I know who he is. I know
Fernando, but you know what though? Fernando Vargas was a motherfucker though, bro. Fernando Vargas was beating good dudes at that time. Yeah. So, when he stepped up, he just fought guys. I mean, think about the buzzsaws that Fernando Vargas came up against at his time. He fought fucking a prime Tito Trinidad and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like he just came across some fucking buzzsaws. He came across a prime Oscar De La Hoya and Tito Trinidad. I mean, ugh. It's just not your time, son.
But he beat Winky Wright.
You know, exactly. And Winky was a motherfucker.
And not like an old Winky, right? Like
Exactly. Like, that's what I'm saying. No, he was good. He just fought good dudes.
Felix, Oscar, Shea Mosley twice,
Dog,
Mayorga.
he
should
fought
have beat Mayorga.
killers. He fought killers. Because he was a killer.
Yeah. But do you think they pushed him too soon? Do you think there were more?
No.
Okay.
No. Not at all. But that's what I'm saying. You see where I'm coming from, though, with the difference in that? That's my only thing with it. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, I feel like that's how we... I know that I get all weird purist of the game type of shit, right? And I know it's just like I want shit to be a certain way. And I understand there's business, and I understand that sometimes shit just can't happen that way. But man, fuck, why not? You know what I'm saying? Like, why not? Yo, this is a sport. You ain't gonna fucking have, you know...
Oh, Berlanga. Let's push Berlanga.
Let's absolutely
Let's push
push
him.
Berlanga.
Thank you for
I
that,
am
Bat.
so down. He need to fight somebody that I give a fuck about. You knocking everybody else so quick. And here's the thing about Berlanga, right? Yo, he actually has skills. He has skills. You know, you can see those actual skills. He has the fundamentals in place. I fuck with dude, but yeah, you got 15 fucking fights under your belt. Yeah, I want to see you fucking whoop somebody. Like, let's see you fight somebody better.
Who do I want to see you fight?
One of the Jarrell brothers or something. He just fought to a draw fight. Want to fight his ass.
I saw that. Yeah, I mean, Caleb Truax, something like that. Like,
Yeah. Oh, see, here's the thing. You beat up Caleb Truax, then you can sit there and call out the big names in the division. Easy. That makes sense.
Hey, put him. Honestly, this is probably a push too soon, but put him in there with David Lemieux.
But here's the thing. Okay, hear me out with this one, though. This is why that makes sense. You're getting these fighters on a crossroads, right?
Mm-hmm. One's going up, one's going down.
David Lemieux's on the back end. You got him coming down the mountain, one coming up the mountain. That's a fight that makes sense. You feed the old lion to the young lion.
Correct, but you know you feed him to an old. You don't feed him to an old.
No,
lion
David.
that can
Here's
put
the
you to
thing.
sleep.
David will still get you fucked up. That's the thing about him.
Up.
He'll fuck you up bad. I mean, he's out there like Wonder Boy is in the UFC. Like, they keep putting him out there with dudes ranked behind him, and he keeps beating these dudes' ass, and he's just like, hey, guys, can I finally get a title shot now?
Can't beat no one ahead of him. Hey, Billy Joe Saunders, tune that ass up.
That's what
Easy.
I'm saying.
So he's just like, he kind of like a quieter Adrian Broner. Like, he ain't made it at the top level.
I hear
Them top level fights ain't for him.
Yeah. Oh, God. Yeah, top level
Triple
fights
G?
definitely aren't for Adrian Broner. See?
Beat up David Lemieux. I mean, it just...
Yeah.
Some guy, he's literally the stereotypical journeyman.
Absolutely. But see, to me, that
Gatekeeper,
fight
gatekeeper,
right there,
gatekeeper,
that's a
journeyman.
great fight for Edgar Berlanga. That right there, that would be fun.
And
That
that's
would be
not
fun
pushing him
as
too soon?
fuck. No,
And that's
I don't
not
think
pushing
so.
him too soon?
At this point in time, I don't think so. Because I'm sure at this point in time, it's hard to get him fights.
I mean, he ain't fought nobody in the top 15, has he?
I'm sure it's hard to get him fights.
I mean, just because of the price. Like,
Yeah.
what somebody's going to want, what you still got to pay him, that's going to end up being a problem. Because
It's gonna be rough.
Yeah, we know about him. I don't know how popular he is outside of boxing to, like, be able to pay money for
You know what?
pay more
fact
money
they
to a guy
started
to
to
come
hang
fight
out
him.
with like hip hop stars and shit. That's starting to raise his profile. People
Who's
are
he
starting to
hanging
pay him a
with?
little bit more attention. Dude, he was on like Fat Joe's show.
I think I've seen
he was
that.
hanging out with Snoop Dogg out here and shit, smoking weed and shit. Like, dude's been
He
doing
wasn't
some
smoking.
shit. I think he was.
I
mean,
don't
if he's
think
on
was
my
smoking.
show, High Kicking It, coming soon, he'll smoke.
He's getting. I don't think we're the UFC. G. I don't think they could do that in boxing yet.
We'll see. But yo, check it out. We are running out of time today. My brother, I always appreciate your time, man. Let the people know where they can find you.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me. You can find me on Instagram at bcam13 with 2 M's and on Twitter at bcamthinks. That is with 1 M. Sergio, my guy, thank you. Per usual, I will be back next week. We'll have a lot to talk about. Whew.
So much to talk about.
It's a
So
big fight
much,
coming up on
man.
the 20th. I don't know. It's something's eluding me, but it's a big fight coming up on March 20th. I feel like.
Shit,
Will
well, we'll talk about it
that
when
be
it
what we're
does.
talking about next week? No, March 13th we'll be talking about.
Yep. Cool,
There's something
man.
coming
Well,
up.
Something. We'll figure it out. But all right, well, everyone, thank you so much for listening. This has been the greatest combat sports and culture in the entire universe, the Fight Podcast. I'm your host, Serg Vicente. This is my boy, B Cam, the Guru, joining us on all things boxing. Love you guys. I appreciate you. Make sure you check us out everywhere podcasting is available. We'll see you guys next time.